Hello, welcome back to LIVENODING. In this episode, I want to share the breakdown of this setup that you can create using geometry nodes. It's basically, again, I started with curve. I love curve. And you can see some kind of energy that's flowing through a bunch of hidden curves, right? I only have a single object, which is just Bezier curve. Again, I can go to edit mode and I can draw a little bit more curve, and then if I play back, you can see there seems to be like invisible force that's flowing through the curve, right? We can see that because it's like, okay, there's like some kind of point cloud that's kind of swimming through the curve. Okay, let's simplify this. Delete everything and okay, just draw a bunch of curve again, keeping it simple. I'm gonna go through inside the curve. So basically it's very simple. I'm using geometry proximity. This is the one that's doing the hard job. If you look at documentations, geometry proximity node, you basically can supply a bunch of points, like they call it targets, and you can work on the faces or points. In this case, I just use points. So provide like some kind of it says target, but it's actually kind of like a influencer points. And using that points, you can get the output, which is the distance from that points into the rest of the source positions, and you can use that to influence the instance of other objects. In this case, okay, if I refill everything, okay, this is the lines, it's just a scattered icosphere, nothing too special. You can scatter any instance objects, and at the moment it's doing nothing because it's just static. Okay, so what happened here? Okay, up above, the nodes that's happening above is the main nodes flow, which is the strokes becoming a bunch of points, right? And then I just scatter it randomly, but while if it's too random, it's just a bunch of points. If it's still in the lines, okay, it's kind of like some kind of point clouds, and you need some kind of influence, right? Some kind of influence to make it more interesting. Otherwise, it's just static. It's boring. So the influence is scaling the instance, which is this guy over here. So it's gonna scale it in all directions, and based on the distance of geometry proximity. So there's something that's affecting this guy over here, but there seems like a lot of points happening at the same time, like kind of like multi points influencer, right? One point is gonna look like this. Okay, that's a single points kind of going through invisible points. And if you want, maybe add a math value, just add a bit of value there. So okay, we can see the points, like they're not invisible anymore. So there's like a bunch of small points, we can see it. And then there's some kind of force that's influencing it, some kind of energy influencer or something. Okay, we can increase the influence. Okay, increase it. If it's too big, okay, sometimes the limitation of this is that one single point can affect all the lines at the same time. So that's one limitation. If you can actually trim the influence only on that areas, that's probably more ideal. But anyhow, I just keep this value small. So I'm using this subtract. So it's like inverting the distance and then clamp it into this value. So a single influence is going through the same strokes multiple times, right? Pretty easy. So the points now is just like, okay, it's doing this. Okay, first, okay, the curve is being resampled, and then I use curve sample because curve sample have a cool vector here that we can use to, you know, to loop through many times, multiple times, based on time. Remember this setup from previous video? So sin time, we can increase or decrease the time how the force is traveling through the path, and then you can add some this random value seed. This random value seed is actually dynamics, and it's based on the number of points. So if we send, okay, I want 10, some kind of 10 influencer goes through the force of, you know, 10 influence going through the force at the same time, it's gonna look like this. And we can increase or decrease the, this is like the timeline, it's gonna influence the whole thing. And this is just to do the offset of time, and this is doing the fraction of time, so it's gonna loop automatically. So you can also use modulo wrap, ping pong, maybe ping pong also. You want to try ping pong will go back and forth. So imagine time sending the flow of energy back and forth, right? This is ping pong. I like to use the fractions for now, just for simplicity. So it's become really simple. A single time being multiplied and then offset, and it's going through the loop. This becomes the factor for our sample curve points, which is actually some kind of like a dot that you sample from a curve, and you can decide how many influence you want. You want too many, okay, maybe 10 is a good value, and based on that points and the geometry proximity, then, you know, we actually get our final result. Okay, so it's pretty simple, easy effects that you can use. You can realize instances or turn it into volume. So we have that again, like some kind of energy flow, and it's all kind of flowing based on the curve strokes. So it's kind of nice. It's cloud or something, sending message of informations, you know, that sort of thing. You can perhaps, okay, it seems like, okay, everything happening inside geometry nodes is kind of happening in parallel. So you could always, I believe you could always randomize value like this, the minimum and maximum. So you have more variations. Oh, actually this goes in there. Okay, that's probably a little bit better. So some of this flowing influence of some flow of energy is smaller, some is bigger, but it's like kind of like how our blood particles sending oxygen through our body, something like that. So if you go into the curve, you can write, okay, you can make spiral. You're gonna do the spiral, the flow of energy. You can see it's flowing. You can increase the number, right? It's kind of pretty. And then what else you can do here? Okay, I think I forgot one thing to tell, but anyway, this proximity is kind of working. I I guess that's pretty much I want to say. If you want to see the first blend file, the first blend file looks like this. So it's a bunch of curve. I can control the curve. This is the original setup before I go inside, and the other is like this. Okay. Oh yeah, it can perform on all curve or just curve based on the index. So you can separate the curve that way. Let's say you just want to perform on a single curve based on the index, so it's going to look like that. See, it's very simple. It's going to perform on that curve only. So let's say you just want a spiral, you want to send a bunch of influencer that goes through the curve. Okay, this curve radius doesn't matter. Yeah, but yeah, energy flow over points thanks to geometry proximity. I think there's there's another way to do this by utilizing sample nearest surface. Maybe I should do the same thing, the same setup using sample nearest. That's gonna be kind of like if you want to transfer attribute or value and then affecting another points. There's also another one. There's accumulate, fill, and bake. I think that's for the future video. And I'm using 3.6.11. That means this is Blender 3.6, not 4.1 or 4.2 with more advanced nodes. But this should give you an easy way to transfer flows of energy into, like paths or strokes. All right. So thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.